23 welcomes you to this court of honor, recognizing the advancement of Drew Beccario, Ryan Butler, Bennett Glasgow, Ty Glenn, Alex Wynn, Noah Wells, Jackson Welchel, Dorsey Yates, and John Young to the rank of Eagle Scout. I am Gabriel Wimsett, and I will be your MC to lead the Scouts in the Pledge of Allegiance, Scout Oath, Scout Law. Would everyone please stand?
Curtis. County of Beacon. That was great. That was clean. That was really.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us together as a family of Scouts, gathered to celebrate the accomplishment of rank of Eagle Scout. Use this ceremony, Lord, to inspire vision and to encourage others to follow the Eagle path. Also, we pray for the healing and strength for Mr. Guthrie, for he could not be here today because of COVID symptoms. And, we also pray for Mr. Smith and his family for the loss of his father. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Well, fix the standards for Good afternoon. Here's some remarks on the path the Eagle Scout these young men have gone through and obtained the symbolism of the badge. Drew Beccario's Path to Eagle achieved on November 1st, 2022. His leadership held Senior Patrol Leader, and Junior Assistant Scoutmaster. His Eagle project was a Brentwood High School swing in the senior student area. Ryan Butler's Path to Eagle was on February 8th, 2023. His leadership positions held were Senior Patrol Leader, Junior Assistant Scoutmaster, and he built a portable Gaga ball pit for Yes. Bennett Glasgow's Path to Eagle was achieved on February 16, 2023. Leadership positions held Patrol Leader, Junior Assistant Scoutmaster, and Instructor. Bennett had, for his Eagle project, 3 benches he built for Deerwood Arboretum. Ty Glenn's Path to Eagle was achieved on November 21st, 2023. Leadership positions held Assistant Senior Patrol Leader, and Junior Assistant Scoutmaster. His Eagle project was built bathroom benches for room in the inn guests here at the Forest Hills United Methodist Church. Alex Wynn Eagle project on June 29, 2023. His leadership positions held Senior Patrol Leader, Junior Assistant Scoutmaster. He built benches for spectators at Granny White Park. Noah Wells achieved his Eagle on August 29, 2023. His leadership positions held Patrol Leader, Assistant Senior Patrol Leader, Junior Assistant Scoutmaster, and he built covered benches for Deerwood Arboretum. Jackson Welchel's Path Eagle was on November 7th, 2023. Positions held were Patrol Leader, Junior Assistant Scoutmaster, and Instructor. His Eagle projects was building benches for Wildwood Civic Association. Dorsey Yates' Path to Eagle is May 9th, 2023. His leadership positions included Patrol Leader, Junior Assistant Scoutmaster. He built a dog waste station in Arden Woods, and John Young's Path Eagle was on May 30th, 2023. Leadership positions included Assistant Senior Patrol Leader, Junior Assistant Scoutmaster, and his Eagle project was a bench for the Middle Tennessee Boxer Rescue Mission. So you hear a common theme that everybody built benches. So if you need a bench built for your house, we got plenty of expertise up here. All right. Ready, Trevor? All right, the Eagle Scout Challenge, gentlemen. The foremost responsibility of an Eagle Scout is to live with honor. To an Eagle Scout, honor is the foundation of all character. He knows that a scout is trustworthy, and it is very first point to the scout law for a good reason. An Eagle Scout lives honorably, not only because of honor is important to him, but it also reflects the vital significance of the example he sets other scouts. Living honorably reflects credit on his home, his church, his troop, and his community. May the white of the Eagle badge remind you to live with honor. The second obligation of an Eagle Scout is loyalty. The Scout is true to his family, Scout leaders, friends, school, and nation. His loyalty to his troop and brother Scouts make him pitch and carry his share of the load. All of these help to bring the loyalty that means devotion to community, to country, and to one's own ideals, and to God. Let the blue of the Eagle badge always inspire your loyalty. The third obligation of an Eagle Scout is to be courageous. Courage has always been a quality by which men measure themselves and others. To a scout, bravery means not only the courage to face physical danger, but also the determination to stand up for the right. Trusting in God with faith in fellow man, he looks forward to each day seeking his share of the world's work to do. Let the red of the Eagle badge remind you always of courage. The fourth obligation of the Eagle Scout is to be cheerful. To remind the Eagle Scouts to always wear a smile, the red, white, and blue ribbon is attached to the scroll of the second class award, which has its ends turned up in a smile. The final responsibility of an Eagle Scout is service. The Eagle Scout extends a helping hand to those who still toil up the trail, just as others help him in his climb to Eagle. When an Eagle Scout enters adult life, performing a good turn daily takes an added responsibility and meaning, and is ever more important to continue to serve others. The Eagle stands as a protector of the weak and the helpless. He aids and comforts the unfortunate and the oppressed. He upholds the rights of others while defending his own. He will always be prepared to put forth his best. You deserve much credit for having achieved Scouting's highest award. Wear your award with humility, ever mindful that the Eagle Scout is looked up to as an example, and may the Scout Oath and the Scout Law be your guide today and for the rest of your life. Congratulations.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Dan Beccario for his thoughts on the occasion.
This is a proud day for me as a dad. Drew has been ready to be independent and on his own since he was since he was 4 years old. He had a backpack ready to go and head off to college. His independence in life, in everything that he does, he took this entire scouting journey and grabbed it by the horns and did it all by himself. He wanted no help along the way. He wanted to tackle it by himself, and he's carried that into every aspect of his life. He's a leader in young life, and I think that the Eagle Scout and the whole scouting process, the commitment, the loyalty, the morals, the courageousness, it provides the foundation that just has built him into the young man that he is today, and the men that these guys are becoming. And as they venture off into college next year for us. I couldn't be any more confident that he's gonna stay on the right path. When he did wilderness in Young Life, grabbing a backpack and going out and doing a 14,000-foot climb. I had no reservations that he wouldn't be able to accomplish the task because of everything that he's been prepared for along the way in this scout troop. So thank you to all the leaders that are helping these young men. It truly does take a community to raise everybody, and I couldn't be more proud of you. Great accomplishment.
At this time, I would like to introduce Matt Butler for his thoughts on the occasion.
Good afternoon. First, I want to say thank you for the tremendous volunteers of Troop 93. If you contributed any amount of time or effort or money over the past years, please step back, take a look at these 9 fine young men, and realize that you are a big reason that they're here. Thank you very much. I want to tell you about Ryan Butler. Ryan started scouting in the 1st grade. Ryan did not choose scouting. Scouting chose him. There's a lot of fun things that a 7-year-old can get involved with. Scouting, it wasn't at the top of the list. But an interesting thing happened. The more difficult that the scouting task became, the longer the hikes, the colder the camping nights, the more he wanted to do them. Another interesting thing that happened is Ryan taught me about life through his scouting activities. And that's what I want to do this morning. I want to share with you 10 life lessons from Ryan Butler. This is what Lisa and I have learned. Number 10, playing 80s music at a headbanging maximum level is a beautiful thing. Number 9, try things you've never done before. You might be good at it, like rappelling. Number 8, many of life's best lessons are learned in the classroom. Number 7, read a book that will change your life, then change your life, like making your bed every day for the past 6 years. Nice job. Number 6, enjoy the things you love and don't stress too much about the cost. Money grows on trees. All right. Number 5, own up to your mistakes, even when it gets you into trouble. Number 4, the evil empire of giant wolf spiders at Boxwell don't define you. Power through. Number 3, scout spirit is real. You just gotta believe. Number 2, try to make someone laugh until they can't breathe. Even if some of your jokes don't land, making others happy is worth the risk. And number 1, never ever give up, even when you have to sleep in a cold tent with 5 inches of water. Some of these things might sound a little familiar. Yeah, they line up pretty nicely with the scout law, except for that one about thrifty, but we'll. In closing, I just want to leave you with one final thing that I learned from Mark. The most important. It doesn't even belong on the list. It's its own list. The number 1 life lesson that I learned from Ryan Butler. Think big. Why not?
At this time, I would like to introduce Kevin Glasgow for his thoughts on the occasion.
Good afternoon, Curtis. How are you? Good to see you. I asked Bennett about his scouting journey, and I want to share some comments that he made. Some of them surprised me, so I'll go through a few of these. First of all, I asked him, what's the best part of scouting? Okay? And he said that all the trips he took with friends and his brother Sean, especially Red River and Hale. Second was summer camp at Boxwell. He liked that because he felt like a contestant on Survivor. And third, this one surprised me, delivering Christmas trees. And the reason he liked it so much is all the happy customers. That was kind of cool. I asked him what was the hardest part of scouting. And he said, getting the squirmy younger scouts to listen. I said, just wait till you're a parent. Right? And then the second hardest thing was emergency prep merit badge. He got to the end of the merit badge and then the leader left and he had to start over. That's what it's going to be like in the workforce. So that was good. Then I asked him what merit badge was that taught you the most. And this surprised me too. He said sustainability. He really enjoyed learning about saving resources. I thought that was a great lesson. So really, if you go through all those, everything you've done is you've learned life lessons in scouting that you can carry on. And the one thing I'll tell you about, I know you liked Boxwell, but college is going to be Boxwell with girls. So well done, Bennett, and well done, boys. And I want to tell all these Eagles that we're counting on you guys, because when we get old, we want you to take care of us. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to introduce Sharon Glenn for her thoughts on the occasion.
I just looked at my paper and he said, are you going to say all those words? So I'll talk quickly. As I was reflecting about what to say, I figured I would talk from a parent's perspective, things I have learned while my oldest has been a scout. So the first thing, don't pack the bag for him. On his first backpacking trip, I thought I was being helpful when we gathered all of his needed items and I put his sandwich in the super safe spot on the top of his backpack. It's like a zippered pouch that flips over and it couldn't get smushed. And when he came home, the sandwich was still there. And I said, why didn't you eat your sandwich? And he said, I didn't know where it was. So never again have I packed a bag for anybody. I appreciate the fact that somebody took care of him. They shared materials with him. They shared food with him and helped him get through that day. And I think he didn't really complain about that part of the trip too much. The second thing I have learned is that the hard part of scouting trips is only remembered temporarily. The fun stuff is remembered a whole lot longer. After that first backpacking trip, I thought he might never want to go backpacking again. But the next fall, he was super excited to sign up. He had forgotten about all the blisters and the sore feet and the discomfort that happened. And he was eagerly looking forward to sleeping in 19-degree weather. And the only complaint he had that second trip was that I should not have sent a coat with him because nobody wears coats on camping trips, apparently. As he began to sign up for more and more trips, I think the excitement of getting ready for the trips was kind of the fun part. He would plan with Tom, like to play echo taps inside of a cave, or planning about what to eat that other boys actually would enjoy if he was the cook. So I thought those kinds of things were cool to listen to him talk about how he was getting ready for the trips. When he got old enough where he would take his own camera on a scouting trip, he would come home with pictures of cool rock formations, colorful fires, leaves, insects, bodies of water, animals, propellers, underneath, or is that what you call it, underneath the sailboat. He came home with a picture because he wanted us to be able to see what the bottom of the sailboat looked like at the end of sea base. All of those are the things that he's going to take with him. Those are life core memories that he was building throughout his scouting journey. The third thing I realized is that we can trust this process that our boys are growing up into responsible young men, and I'm going to get emotional. Sorry. It's super exciting to see. I remember when these boys were little bitty, and now they're all big, and they really are growing up, and they can cook themselves. They know that they're supposed to shower when they go somewhere, even if they didn't do that the first year at Boxball. They are responsible to take care of their belongings, even if their glasses don't come home from a camping trip twice. It has been really awesome to see these kids take leadership roles in the troop, whether that's through the OA and leading kids through induction ceremonies or training little bitty scouts to tie knots over and over and over again. And seeing them step up to take those responsibilities has been really cool. You mentioned trees. Selling trees, calling and talking to people on a phone. That's a skill that we've learned from scouting, and I don't know that we would have learned otherwise. And showing up at people's houses and delivering those trees is super fun. I also learned that I could trust the people who were going along the trips with these young men. And I'm super thankful to all the dads who stepped up and braved the 19-degree weather with the kids or the week on the sailboat. Thank you for all that you have poured into our kiddos, and good job, guys. Good job, Ty.
At this time, I'd like to introduce my win for his thoughts on the occasion.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. Scouts honor, that's something that as adults we've heard time and again in conversation, and that, that means that what I'm saying is I'm being honest and truthful. It's not something you hear from kids, when you're young, scouting is not cool, it's nerdy and stuff, but as we get older and we experience life, successes and failures, we learn what it takes to succeed and what are the things that don't work. And so we realize that scouting is an important part in molding these young boys into men. Through the scout oath and scout law, we give them tools to become successful. And thankfully, for these last several years, I've been blessed to be part of Alex's journey through scouting. Starting about 10 years ago, when he first entered the Cub Scouts, he was somewhat scattered, naive young boy, and I still remember him and several of his friends telling ghost stories around a campfire one night, getting scared at all these noises then that came out of the woods. I may have a little part of it, like hiding a Bluetooth speaker in the woods and then controlling it with my phone, so that they kind of went crazy. And then all the way up to when he was 17 years old this summer and planning out his Eagle Scout project, making 2 benches, selecting the plan, going to Lowe's, buying supplies, shepherding a bunch of scouts and the teamwork to help construct it, and then installing it at Granny White Park. So, been very proud of him for accomplishing that. One of the most poignant memories, though, that stuck in my mind is his first backpacking trip. Despite my advice, he overpacked, and his backpack weighed more than a third of his own body weight. And so much is so heavy that when he first started out, he kind of stumbled and fell on his face. And however, he refused my offer to take some stuff out of his pack to help carry it. And he said, "No, I'm going to do this." I packed it, and he suffered through the rest of the weekend with the heavy weight, and it was a hot summer night, a summer day. So my heart ached for him seeing him suffer that way, but it also swelled with pride because he went through the whole thing and not even a complaint. He did the whole thing. And I think that's the kind of thing that helps build character in these men. So, Scouts honor, I think today it means more than just, honesty and truthfulness. I think it means there's honor in being a scout. There's honor in achieving the rank of Eagle Scout. And there's honor in us as parents seeing our son earn the achievement of being an Eagle Scout, transforming from a young, shy boy to a quietly confident, self-assured young man who's, thanks to scouting, equipped with the skills to deal with life when he ventures out into the world next year to go to college. Alex, congratulations. I love you. I'm very proud of you.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Linnea Wells for her thoughts on the occasion.
Well, I will never forget Noah's very first camp out to Moreland Farms. A lot of you know that one. It's a good one. But he was nervous, and so he got the packing list and he came up with a plan for what he was going to do that weekend and everything that he needed to pack. And he practiced setting up his tent by himself several times so that he knew what he could do on his own. And I'm so glad he did, because they left Friday after school, and by the time they got to the campsite, it was dark and it was storming and it was cold. And he had to do all that by himself, and he figured it out. And all weekend we wondered, how is he doing? How is he faring? Because we're not really a camping family. And so this is kind of a first. And so I was worried, and I was thinking to myself, he's never going to want to do this again. He's never going to want to go back. But I figured he was miserable. But when we went Sunday morning to the church to pick him up, and all the scouts were there, they were muddy and wet and a little smelly from spending the weekend in the woods. Noah told us what an awesome time he had. And he told us he couldn't stop talking about everything that he had experienced. And yes, he was cold. Yes, he was filthy and all the things. But he really had had a fun time despite all of it. And he persevered through all the conditions that he had to go through. We knew then the lessons Noah was learning in Scouts would have a far-reaching impact on his life. And he competes in robotics, and he's on the swim team, he plays the trumpet, and he works hard in all that he does, and he's committed and helpful, teammate, friend, brother, and son. A lot has happened in the last 6 years for Noah as a scout and in his life. We're incredibly proud of you. We're incredibly proud of all you have accomplished, and we're confident in the direction God has for you. We know you have planned, you have prepared, and you will persevere, no matter where life takes you. And one of our favorite verses is Isaiah 40:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint.
At this time, I would like to introduce Lee Welchel for his thoughts on the occasion.
All right, I wish I'd gone first now. The emotion has really built up for me, and I wrote things down, have notes, mostly because I'm nervous and I'm a big crybaby, so I'll probably should have brought some tissues. A lot of memories coming back, listening to the other dads talk. I mean, just having the speaker in the world. It's, you know, Matt, I owe you probably many dinners for all the times that you've taken Jackson with you guys, and particularly that time you guys came back from the rain trip you just mentioned in that speech, where you guys were literally sleeping into the water. So, if I never thank you, I'm thanking you now. So, you know, when Jackson first mentioned joining Scouts, we lived in Georgia, so we moved here in about, I guess, what, third grade for you. He was in first or second grade at the time, and I mean, we had little kids. I mean, we have three, they're 19, 18, and almost 14. So it was just one of those times where they got to play lots of sports, lots of activities. And he mentioned it to me on the way home from a football game that he was playing in. So he wanted to know if he could join Boy Scouts, and, you know, we just started talking about all the activities he had and what the priorities were, and really asked him, what did he most want to get out of Boy Scouts? What was interesting to him? And he said, well, camping and hunting and shooting and things like that. So we decided at the time, you know what, we could do hunting and shooting. We have farm down in Georgia. So that's what we did. We went and did camping and shooting and had a blast, but we couldn't join Boy Scouts at the time. We were just overtaxed, and Kristen probably would have strangled me because I had already committed him to football, soccer, and baseball and something else probably at the time. But so Jackson was really into survival shows back then, and you know that first camping trip I took him on, he'd been watching Bear Grylls and all of those survival shows, and I don't know if he's still into it, but back then he really was. And so he asked me, he looked over and said, "Dad, what are we going to eat?" And I was like, "Well," he said, "we're going to eat bugs and stuff." And I was like, "No, I did not plan to eat bugs and stuff. I've got the Lord's chicken in my hand. I'm like, got Chick-fil-A bags and little foil packs. I'm thinking that's what we're eating." And we had some, maybe I think I had some s'mores or something like that, but we didn't eat bugs. And I think Jackson deep down was really disappointed. So I don't know where he stands on it now, but back then I felt like he was disappointed. So you know, as parents, we want what's best for our kids. I mean, we want to give them the opportunities that we didn't have. You know, at least that's my case. And you know, for that, when we move cities, we move states, we move, you know, move away from. I'm starting to choke out now. This one hurts me a little bit. We moved here about 10 years ago, and there are a lot of reasons, but a little bit selfish because it was for me personally, for the job. And I just pulled the whole family, disrupted the whole family, pulled them out of their schools, away from their friends. And, you know, I really struggled with that transition for probably a year or two. I really wasn't sure if we made the right choice. But I'll tell you, we got lucky. We got high schools, and we got invited, you know, to play on the right baseball team, and we got to play. We got invited to Impact 144, and you know, from then I really felt like we were in the right place. Felt Jackson had found a good friend group, and we learned that Boy Scout was much more than just camping, shooting guns and shooting BB guns. And it's much more than just oneself. And I got to see, this is where I'm really going to push. I got to see it yesterday, but this weekend, Jackson was in a wrestling tournament down in Huntsville, and the coach needed someone to wrestle the 250 weight class. So Jackson he's down to 180 now after football. He's lost math, but the difference between 250 and 180 is significant in wrestling, and it's a good 35 pounds. So, you know, part of that strategy is they just don't have anyone in that weight class right now, and they don't want to forfeit those matches. So it's sort of like, hey, we're gonna put a warm body in that spot. And it's sort of an impossible mission. But Jackson, he approached it, you know, almost. I mean, he just, you know, it's like, this is the role I got. And I can lose every match, but he still went in and he fought harder than I've ever seen him fight for anything. And not only did there were 25 kids in that weight class. He didn't win. He didn't win the class. He didn't win the class. I'm not going to say that, but he probably had a 401k. You know, he was a big, solid guy, and Jackson actually ended up pinning him, and it was battle. I mean, all the way to the end. But so I learned a lot about, you know, things I probably already know, but I learned a lot more about Jackson this weekend, just watching him sort of press through, knowing that the odds were stacked against him, but he had a role to play. He played it. He played graciously. He's going to probably be sore for a full week after that, but I know that some of that is from, you know, his experiences in scouts, just being a leader, they're much bigger than yourself. So I know I'm pulling my 2 minutes out of the water here, but I got a little bit more, and I may just have to read this at this point, but, you know, as parents, you know, we've witnessed Jackson grow from a scout with a pocket full of enthusiasm eat grubs, maybe, I'm not sure. But he's now, you know, a remarkable young man. Scout is no easy feat. Most kids don't get it. Requires commitment, leadership, a deep sense of responsibility. And that's just Mr. Smith's part. I try to be funny sometimes, but really more than anything, I just want to say we're proud of Jackson, proud of all of you guys. You guys have been a great friend group to Jackson. The families, you guys have been great families to us. You're incredibly grateful. Thank you.
Time, I would like to introduce Scott Yates for his thoughts on the occasion.
Good afternoon. I think Matthew said it well. There's a common theme up here with the boys and building benches, but for all the people who come before me, common theme of thankfulness and pride. There's a couple of things I want to talk about. Of course, I promise I won't have any stories or embarrassing. You know, I think it's fitting that we're in the house of the Lord today, celebrating this incredible accomplishment with thankfulness at the beginning. And I think that's probably the thing that Elizabeth, Dorsey's mother, and I are very thankful for the leaders. Thank you, Matthew, and the entire team here. And thankful for all the leaders, because Dorsey, Mike Jackson, moved here from Atlanta. He started the scouting journey with a troop in Atlanta. And those people, while they're not in the room here today, thankful for them. Thankful for all of the boys, not just the ones that are up here today who achieved this honor, but all the ones that Dorsey is, the ones here, the ones in Atlanta, thankful for the encouragement, the challenge, motivation to continue on this journey. I mean, what Dorsey got with the boys, he wouldn't have gotten without the commitment and those here in this room, the ones that aren't in this room, for being there and encouraging and going on the camp house, helping along the way, teaching all the life lessons. So a huge thankfulness. And I can say that Elizabeth and I have prayed many days through this journey for Dorsey to persevere and to be committed, as I know many in this room have done the same for your boys. Very thankful for the answered prayer today to see this accomplishment for Dorsey, as I know many of you are too. And Dorsey, I can't tell you how proud your mother and I are of you. We're proud for not just this day, but for all the things along the way that have helped you express who you are, help you become who you are, and show a sign of who you will become as you grow. There's a picture that flashed up earlier of Dorsey with his little car, and the troop when we were in Atlanta had a lot of Georgia Tech dads, and some of the Georgia Tech dads were very competitive in designing the cars. And I remember I said, Dorsey, we've seen what others before you have done. I said, I can help you, or we can make this your own. It's your choice. You tell me how I can be helpful. And Dorsey, it was not the prettiest car. It was not the fastest car, but it was one of the fastest. But it was his. And I think that embodies what Dorsey's personality, but also he's carried that throughout from, I think, you take the hardest trail to, I can do the cooking by myself, I can plan this, all coupled together. There's an immense sense of pride that your mother had. It was evident last year, Dorsey took some friends that are not scouts on a camping trip, just 15 or so on my dad's farm. And I said, Dorsey, it's going to be cold. He says, yeah, I know. And all of his buddies trusted him to prepare for the camping trip, and he did. Had a wonderful time and had many expressions of thankfulness of how well prepared Dorsey was and what a great time they had on a very, very cold night along the creek in my father's place. So pride and evidence of pride throughout this process, but incredibly proud for what, as many people have said, going off to college, the confidence his mother and I have in being able to make the right decisions, to be there for your friends, to do well. And I think that with the journey for Eagle Scout has taught you many great lessons that we are confident that you will take for the rest of your life. So thankful.
This time, I'd like to introduce David Young for his thoughts on the occasion.
And last year. So I better just read mine or I'll end up going way over 2 minutes and I'll definitely get a little emotional. So got a prepared speech here. Well, John, you did it. You definitely did. I cannot be more proud of what you've accomplished. This is such a significant achievement and one that lasts a lifetime. You know, you'll always be an Eagle. Every one of you up here will always be an Eagle. Can't take that away from you. But first, I want to thank Matt Smith, Warren McNeely, David Guthrie, Keith Smith, and all the other Boy Scout leaders. Matt invited John to join the troop in 6th grade. He had to join. Matt lives next door to us. I don't think you would have taken no for an answer. But it's been such a blessing. It's been a true blessing. Now, we could have done without the heat of Boxwell. We've heard the Boxwell stories. We could have done without those. And definitely could have done without the February cold. I would never imagine we'd be sleeping in a tent in 18-degree weather, wrapped up tight in a sleeping bag, with only feet warmers keeping us warm. But we survived, and now we have a lasting memory. And I actually earned my first and only Boy Scout patch, the polar bear patch. So, amen. Through all the fun and many Boy Scout adventures, it was wonderful to see John grow up and mature into the young man he is today. At first, I was helping him set up his tent. Soon, he was doing it by himself. At first, he was watching older scouts prepare meals. Soon, he was making meals for over 20 scouts. At first, he complained about having to work on badges. Well, he never stopped complaining about having to work on badges. I can't count how many times we have to say, John, work on your badges. You should work it on. But he got it done. All kidding aside, it was an incredible journey to see John work through the challenges to complete the necessary badge paperwork and make sure that he had his ranking requirements complete. All this concluded in the final Eagle Scout project. John worked to build a bench for the Boxer rescue mission. And when it was done, we all felt a sense of triumph and accomplishment. It was a fantastic way to conclude his Boy Scout journey. John, I'm so proud of all your hard work and dedication to get to this moment. The skills you've learned as a Boy Scout will help you succeed every day in both your personal and professional life. Here's and the other scouts who helped along the way. Be prouder to have you person.
Thank you all for those kind words about the Scout program.
To Ryan, Bennett, Ty, Alex, Noah, Jackson, Dorsey, and John, I have the honor of presenting to you the Eagle Scout Sarge on this occasion of your elevation to the highest rank in scouting. It reads as follows. The Boy Scouts of all participating nations collectively constitute one of the most wholesome and significant influences in the world today. You join the ranks of those who have dedicated themselves to building a better world. This well-deserved honor comes with a solemn responsibility, which you must accept by the following pledge. Obligation to do your duty to God and country, to serve others, and to continue to live by the Scout oath and law. If so, say, I will. Charge you to undertake the citizenship obligation seriously. Be an honorable leader and courageous follower who leads and follows only toward the best, the noble, and the caring. Lift up every task you undertake and every office you hold by your service to others. You are now a steward of the future. You have pledged to live and serve in ways that will inspire others. There are too many individuals who use their strength and knowledge to exploit others and to gain selfish ends. I charge you to be among those who dedicate both heart and hands to common good. Much is expected of Eagle Scouts. Collectively, you carry the light of scouting. Your obligations are clear and your commitment everlasting. The honors and achievements, none will match the one you so justly received today. May the Eagle Badge anchor your spirit and guide your actions today and all the days of your life. You can be seated.
Would Jessica and Dan Carrier please come up and stand by your side? The grand scouting tradition for the new Eagle Scout's mother to first pin on her son's Eagle Badge. Recent addition to these traditions is for the Eagle Scouts to select an adult leader to recognize as his Eagle mentor and presents this person the gold mentor's pin. Lisa and Matt Butler, please come up. And Kevin Glasgow, please come up. Would Nancy and me when please come up?
Sure.
Sorry about that. Would Sharon and Daniel please come up?
As I mentioned, I'd like to recognize my grandfather, Mr. Mary.
Now, would Nancy and me when please come up? Would Linnea and Brian Wells please come up?
I'd like to recognize my dad.
Would Kristen and Lee Welchel please come up? Would Elizabeth and Scott Yates please come up? Would Angel and David Young please come up? Ladies and gentlemen, Eagle Scouts Drew, Ryan, Bennett, Ty, Alex, Noah, Jackson, Dorsey, and John. Drew, Ryan, Bennett, Ty, Alex, Noah, Jackson, Dorsey, and John will now make their Eagle response.
Parents, mentors, and fellow scouts, I stand before you today as I accept the Eagle Scout badge with gratitude. There's much to be thankful for in this season in and out of scouting, and I would not have been able to achieve this without constant support from mentors in and out of scouting. This journey was not completed by myself. The Eagle Scout rank is not merely a badge, it symbolizes a multi-year commitment to service, leadership, and the values that scouts hold. As I reflect with you today, I look back on 6 years of my life that have truly transformed me into the person that I am today. I wouldn't be the same without Scouts, and the organization as a whole has taught me so much about myself and others. I was skeptical at first, and it's really easy to get caught up in the, oh, scouting isn't cool, you're a Boy Scout, you're in Scouts. I wasn't very proud of it at first, but as I'm standing here before you all with this Eagle rank, I'm really glad of my experience, and I'm thankful for all the people who've helped me throughout and everyone who's walked with me through it. I wouldn't change a thing, and I remember specifically one day in 5th grade, Bennett came up to me and told me about Scouts, and his brother's doing it, and I decided to go to a meeting with him. I told my parents I was committed to doing it, and there have been countless times where they've reminded me of that commitment. No matter how I felt about Scouts, if it was cool or not, I could not give up and throw away my promise to myself and them. Though I've had my struggles, I'm up here today with no regrets, and I'm extremely thankful to everyone who helped me push through. Although all components of scouting are critical, my favorite part of scouting is the trips. Foxwell, Red River, Stock Farm, and the Ocoee are my 3 favorite by far. Some pictures up there going through with me at those, and the memories made there will be with me for a long time. Even though this accomplishment means a lot to me, scouting is not just about achieving milestones like the Eagle Link, it's about giving back. Through various community service projects, I have witnessed the profound impact we can have on our communities. My Eagle Project was an awesome experience, and most of y'all up here, and a few of y'all in the crowd, can go use that any day at school. And I'm glad every time I walk by and see someone sitting on the street. But dedicating time to serve others by myself with fellow scouts was truly an awesome experience. I hope this sense of responsibility for my community will continue to guide me in my future. As we celebrate this achievement today, let us remember that the journey is not in here. We are called to be leaders in our communities, to uphold the Scout oath and law in all aspects of our lives, and to inspire others to follow the path of service and excellence. Further than our high school experience, I hope that we are able to take these principles and use them as we venture into college and the professional world. I hope that we are able to make a difference and be men of service past just scouting. In conclusion, I'm honored to be counted among the ranks of Eagle Scouts. This achievement is not an end, but a beginning, a commitment to a lifelong journey of leadership, service, and the embodiment of principles that Scouting stands for. Thank you to all for being a part of this journey, and I look forward to continuing to uphold the ideals of Scouting as we strive to make a positive difference in the world. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy to be able to share what scouting has taught me over the years. I've been involved in scouting since I was in 1st grade. Since then, I've learned skills and resiliency that I would not have learned anywhere else. I have many memorable experiences in scouting, and each one has helped me become a better man. During my time in scouting, I've made so many friendships and strong bonds. I love sharing each of my scouting experiences just with my friends. And we've gone to Sea Base, Foxwell, explored a cave, we've slept in the wilderness, just to name a few. I'd also like to thank my parents and leaders for all the time, money, and effort spent. I'd like to thank my mom and dad for their endless support and love. Accomplishing this goal of Eagle is going to benefit me for the rest of my life. Give me an advantage for any endeavor I decide to take on. I encourage each of the younger scouts to accomplish this goal as well. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, I want to thank everyone for being here today and to those who have been part of my Scouting journey, whether in organizing trips, teaching merit badges classes, or offering support. My Scouting journey began long before Cub Scouts, tagging along with my brothers on memorable trips like skiing at Hilly Peaks and floating down the Hiawassee River. These early experiences caused me to want to become an Eagle Scout. After many Scouting adventures, it's challenging to pick my favorite, but Boxville stands out. From what I've heard, the food at Boxville is not very good, but I would not know because after going to Boxville for 3 straight years, I was always too afraid to just try the food. Instead, I ate peanut butter sandwiches for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What made Boxville truly special, though, was the late night conversations with some of my closest friends, telling ghost stories to scare younger Scouts, and creating lasting memories. However, my favorite part of Scouting is the commitment to community service, participating in projects like fellow Eagle Scout projects, cleaning the Little Harpeth River, and contributing to Nomad Home. Taught me the power of selflessness and teamwork. Finally, Boy Scouts is a way to experience some amazing things. To all the Scouts out there that have yet to achieve Eagle, I encourage you to push on and take advantage of all the trips and activities that are offered to you. They are the things that make Scouting the best. And finally, to the other Scouts with me today, being awarded Eagle Award, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you all for taking time in your busy schedule to be here at this ceremony, where we're honoring myself and the other gentlemen here for their accomplishments. As you know, it's been a long journey for us to get to this point. So I'm so glad that all the time and all the activities we all participated in led to us being here today. The fact that I'm able to be part of the ceremony is the result of not only my hard work, but also the tireless pushing and encouragement of so many others. My parents' constant reminders kept me on track with my work. Mr. Smith put in many hours to get me through the process. Mr. McNeely and the other troop leadership were always available to offer their guidance and their time. My grandfather was instrumental in making my Eagle project go smoothly. Without any of them, I wouldn't be able to be proud to be an Eagle Scout. I'm so grateful for their help. Scouting is, as you know, a truly unique opportunity for a young man to experience things that he never would have otherwise. We get to go on trips, learn about things that simply aren't common in our age group. It broadens our horizons. There are a few things that we learn that, such as balancing a checkbook, thanks to the personal management of merit badge, that none of us will probably ever earn one, but scouting is important because it's timeless. So we learn the same things that Scouts did 50 years ago. We go on the same trips. We not only learn in the same way they do, but we also learn from those people. So that's a unique opportunity, and that's part of what makes Eagle Scout special. So in short, I'm so glad that you're all here, and I can't thank everyone enough who had a hand in bringing us to where we are today. Thank you all.
Thank you for coming. I've been in Scouting for almost a decade at this point. Just hearing that is crazy to me. It seems like a couple of years ago, I was helping to set a pile of leaves on fire using a magnifying glass in the butler's backyard. I've grown a lot since then, but crucial to my growth has been a community of friends, mentors, and family. Our achievement of Eagle Scout is, yes, something that each of us should be proud of, but it's something each person here, every one of you, played a major role in. For me, I know today wouldn't have happened without my father pushing me to be better, to set a goal and go for it. It wouldn't have happened without Mr. Smith and all the adult leaders of our troop, allowing us the opportunity to experience leadership roles, to help other Scouts, and to serve in the community. The memories of summer camps, campouts, and amazing experiences like Sea Base will stick with me forever. But what I will always remember is how others poured into me, and I will do my best to pour into others in the same way. Yes, this rank will go on our resumes, these pins are on our shirts, but this award is shared by the whole community. Thank you.
I'd like to start today by thanking everyone for being here. I'd like to thank Mr. Smith and Mr. McNeely for leading this whole presentation. I'd like to thank my fellow scouts for being here, my friends, my family, and everyone else in the crowd. It's truly been an honor being in Scouts. I remember my first scouting experience actually wasn't in Boy Scouts. It was Troop 93 and Pack 144's mixer event in late October when I was in 6th grade. And I had some friends in the troop, but I had never really thought about joining. And when I got to the mixer, they were asking me, hey, are you joining Scouts? Are you joining Scouts? And I constantly was saying, no, I'm not. I'm not a Boy Scout. I'm not joining Boy Scouts. I'm not doing any of this. But as the mixer went on and when I got home and reflected on it, I realized a lot of the things that were being taught there and that I was seeing lived out through the leadership and through my friends, the things that the Cub Scouts were being taught, they were amazing. And I wanted to be a part of it. And so immediately I told my parents, I want to join Boy Scouts, even though just a week before I had been adamant that I wasn't. And I'm so grateful for this experience. I've had many nights where I regretted it when I was cold and hungry and dirty. And I've had many times where I've been so glad about it. Rafting down the Ocoee, shooting shotguns at Boxwell, riding horseback. And it's been such a great experience. It's helped me in every area of my life. I'm a leader in other areas of my life as well. And none of that would have been possible without Boy Scouts for me. And I'm truly grateful for the experiences that I have had here. And I believe that they will help me throughout the rest of my life. I believe that Scouts, especially in this area, is extremely important because a lot of people in this area don't have a perspective on what it's like to not have things and to not be comfortable all of the time. And so people will get comfortable just living their own life and paying attention to themselves and being selfish. But I believe scouting is a great way for people to recognize that there are experiences that are far different, and there are experiences that we may not even be aware of until we go out and try them ourselves. And it has made me so much more aware of how other people live their lives. And I'm just eternally grateful that I've had this such broad perspective because of how I've experienced through Scouts. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming here today. It's our Eagle Scout ceremony. All of us have worked very hard to reach this point in Scouts. It feels amazing to finally be able to say that I'm an Eagle Scout after so many years. And I feel like I've learned so much since I've joined the troop, from tying knots to teamwork and so much more. And I've enjoyed really every second of it. While I did slow down a bit, and hit a couple roadblocks through the years because of sports and other things, I stuck to it and can confidently say that it was most definitely worth it. But of course, I would have struggled a lot more if it hadn't been for those that helped me get here today. So my dad, who would constantly remind me to get on top of my work in order to get my Eagle Scout, Mr. Smith, who went out of his way so many times just to help me, and my friends who were already ahead of me in getting an Eagle Scout rank really helped me to push to catch up to them. I've had an amazing time while being a part of this Boy Scout troop, and I know that everything that I've learned and experienced will greatly benefit me in the future. So thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I start, I would like to thank my fellow scouts, parents, and everyone in attendance here today. I would also like to thank all of those who cannot make it and anyone who's been a part of my scouting journey. Over many years, my journey to Eagle has been a fun but long one. I cannot have done it without those around me. As I prepared to begin college, scouting has been something that's prepared me for this huge change above all else. I carry with me the values of leadership, service, and character that scouting has imprinted on my heart. The Eagle Scout rank is not the end, but a new beginning of a life dedicated to making a difference in the world around me. Over many campouts and adventures with my fellow scouts, I have learned many valuable skills, both in virtue and in physical. Scouts have certainly taught me how to survive in the wilderness, and I've learned on my backpacking trip in Colorado from young life. Coming into the trip, me and my friends joked about how scouting would come in handy, but on the trail, it had a huge effect. I constantly used my skills in setting up camp and over survival skills, which made the trip much more enjoyable for all of us. In virtue, the scout oath has taught me how to grow into a prosperous young man, ready to take on any challenge presented to me. Scout oath and law have not merely been guiding principles, they have been the roadmap to lead me towards personal growth and excellence. Out of all my years of scouts, my favorite memories would have to be from my years at Woodruff in the summer. Over the 3 years I went, I not only gained many of my merit badges and learned valuable lessons in leadership and discipline, but also got to spend time with many of the older scouts. Late nights around the campsite always produced hilarious and interesting conversations that I think back every time when scouts is mentioned. Outside of the outdoors and scouts, the leadership I've learned from these past 8 years has been reflected in all my activities. Whether it be in the classroom or on the lacrosse field, leadership and hard work have always been prominent in my actions. Your scouts have inspired me to be the best version of myself at all times and to reflect upon others, pushing themselves to become leaders too. To those who follow me in my footsteps, I encourage you to embrace the challenges, to cherish the friendships, and never lose sight of the principles that define scouting. The journey may be long, but the rewards are immeasurable. Be persistent, be compassionate, and always remember the power of the helping hand. Truly, I'm honored and privileged to have undertaken this journey with such an incredible support system. Thank you to everyone who has played a role in shaping my scouting adventure. I look forward to carrying the spirit of scouting with me as I embark on new endeavors, knowing that the Eagle Scout badge is not just an honor, but a responsibility to lead, serve, and uphold the values of scouting throughout my life.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming today. I remember when I first started Boy Scouts and looking at all the work I needed to do to get Eagle and thinking I'm not doing all that. All I wanted to do was chop down a random tree I saw, go fishing, and go camping with my friends. Well, I ended up doing all the work, but it wasn't all because of me. I want to thank my dad for always going on the good and bad trips with me and always helping me understand what I needed to get done. I want to thank my mom for constantly reminding me about doing my work, even though she had to take some things away from me to do it. I want to thank Mr. Smith for always helping me more than he needed to, and for putting me through uncomfortable leadership roles and positions that I didn't want to do, but I got through them, didn't I? I also want to thank Mr. McNeely, Mr. Ryman, Mr. Guthrie, Ms. Butler, and everybody else who took time out of their busy schedules to help me get to where I am today. All of y'all taught me how to be clean, organized, and responsible. Thank you so much. I couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for those comments. Will all the Eagle Scouts in the audience please come forward to welcome our newest Eagle Scouts, symbolizing the lifelong bond among Eagles everywhere.
Please join me as we recite the Trail of the Eagle. It's located on the back of your bulletin. Trail the eagle, trail the eagle, trail the eagle. Climbing all the time. First the star, then the light. Rolling to the time. Keep climbing, the latest trail. You can follow. For the eagles go on the road to something. Till the eagles off. Ms. Glasgow, will you please come up here and share your concluding remarks?
I bring this honor a little bit. We, Kevin and I, are the very proud parents of 4 Troop 93 Eagle Scouts. When I realized I get to do this, I started reflecting back on our journey. And it was all the way back in 2009. And I don't know if some of the younger scouts were even born at that time. But our oldest, Joey, joined in 2009 after Cub Scouts with some friends. And back then, we were very, very naive about scouts. I was told that Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts are totally different. That Cub Scouts is parent-led and Boy Scouts is scout-led. This is mostly true. The older scouts, they lead the meetings, they lead the trips, they share what they have learned with the younger scouts, pack a tarp, check for ticks, bring a headlamp, learn to whittle. When someone's learning to whittle, don't get too close. And on the eggs on Sunday morning will contain everything that has left over from the 2 prior nights of camping. Just be careful. I'm no longer naive about scouts. Parents are involved. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Many are still involved and they no longer have scouts. Over the years, I've watched many parents become teachers, drivers, security guards, or whatever you want to call us when we spend the day at Boxwell. The faces change except for David Guthrie, but the jobs have not. I encourage you to teach a merit badge, organize a trip, stay for a scout meeting. Scouts, I encourage you to use what you have learned. Cook dinner, call to make your appointments, volunteer, get involved in your community. Make your bed every day. Good job, Alex. Good job. If you dissect scouts, it is just another way to get your sons prepared for life. When Kevin and I realized that, that's when we got hooked. Ian joined in 2012, Sean in 2015, and Bennett in 2017. I never expected them all to join. I never expected them all to become Eagle Scouts. Each of our sons' journeys in scouting was different, as is true with these 9 scouts. Some started as Cub Scouts, some joined because of a friend. Some attended Boxwell, some were patrol leaders. Some rafted the Ocoee, backpacked, flew a plane. Some rode a horse, and some can tie a lot of knots. Each has their own roses and thorns. While their journey was different, they have something in common. As young boys, 11 and 12-year-old boys, as young boys, they made the decision to join Scouts. They showed up week after week to Scout meetings. 6 years, some of them, week after week. They went on weekend Scout trips. They slept out in the rain, in the heat, and in the snow. One time they forgot their rain gear. One time they forgot their warm clothes. It never happened the next time. At some point, they wanted to quit. As young men, they decided to stay. Now we get to celebrate these 9 new Eagle Scouts. This is a big deal. You deserve it. You deserve to reap all the benefits of your hard work. Congratulations, you crossed the finish line. Let's go eat cake.
Will everybody please circle up for the Great Scoutmaster?
Yeah, well, let's get it. Let's recall it.
Leanne, come into the views. One this way. Come about down to here. You got it? Is that gonna be, we're gonna be good?
And now.
All Scouts, you listen to me here, nine Scouts.